Hello everyone, and welcome. My name is Phoenix, and this is the Consumer's Guide to Filmmaking. Arcane, League of Legends, 2021 to 2024, Christian Link and Alex Yee. This series chronicles the lives of various people in the city of Piltover. In its grand upper-class region lives a pair of scientists named Jace and Victor. Discovering a technological application for magic, the two come to invent what is known as hex tech and become icons. Meanwhile, in the lower class slums, two children named Violet and Powder, later to be known as Jinx, are raised by a barkeep and shot caller named Vander. With a mob boss named Silco looking to violently take over the city, the converging paths of Piltover's elite and the city's underworld will forever change the lives of those involved. This is a series that has gotten a lot of buzz in the past few years, and with my friend not shutting up about it, I decided to give it a go. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. This show is the very definition of style over substance. And I was just not as hot on it as everyone else was. Speaking of said style, the thing that carries this entire show is the animation. Done by a French studio called Fortiche, something like that. This team went above and beyond and then some for a show about fucking League of Legends. The style is this hyper-detailed comic book-esque sort of thing where characters are all big-eyed and expressive, but there is an unbelievable amount of dynamic realism to it. Characters sweat like people, bleed like people, and move fluidly like people. Everyone had such a distinct look, from Jinx's blue hair and light blue tattoos to Vi being a jacked up, red-haired brute, to Victor turning into some weird, otherworldly messiah thing. It's wild, wild stuff. If that wasn't enough, the visual style of the show is what makes this so memorable. Animation allows for action to be shot as wide and as long as you please, and the camera in this show flows beautifully, and characters are blocked in an incredibly interesting manner. Wide lenses and weird angles abound in this show. As well, the series will throw so many different styles of animation at you, and so much surreal imagery, that it is staggering that this is even a show about, again, League of Legends. Graffiti art, doodles, kaleidoscopic acid trips, sketch art, so on and so on. One of the bits that will always stick with me is the second season premiere, when the beginning of the episode was in black and white and super hazy, all while the characters are in color. It created such a beautiful contrast and worked perfectly for that particular scene. It was a funeral, so it was nice and depressing and whatnot. Oh man, if you haven't turned off the video now, you're gonna turn it off now, because all this show has going for it is a visual style. The rest of the show, Starting with the music, this has to be the biggest mixed bag I have ever encountered. The original score for this show is actually not half bad. It's the typical sort of epic orchestral music that you would expect from a fantasy epic such as this. It ebbed and flowed well with the action on screen when used, and it could really enhance the emotional stakes the show had. An original song was written for this show and was sung by the guy who voiced the little Shih Tzu scientist thing. The Humperdinger, I don't fucking remember and care what that thing is called. Whatever. The song is called Spin the Wheel, and it was honestly a fun bit of Bob Dylan-esque folk music. Compared to every song used in the show, it was emotionally resonant and fit the scene beautifully. Unfortunately, there is also a licensed soundtrack, and this licensed soundtrack is the absolute drizzling shits. Starting with the opening theme of this show, fucking Imagine Dragons. I listened to this intro twice, in total, during my viewing of this series, as this song, Misery or whatever it's called, is obnoxious, overproduced, corny garbage. But then again, what else would you expect from Imagine Dragons? The rest of the soundtrack isn't that great either. shitty millennial rock music, shitty pop music. The rap music was tolerable, but not that great. None of it was all that good. I audibly fucking groaned when the end of the season 2 premiere had a corny orchestral version of one of those new Linkin Park songs playing over top of it. It was fucking cringe incarnate. This is where we start with the disappointment that this show breeds. Based on that Spin the Wheels song, this show could have had an interesting musical palette. I envision this show, with its penchant for striking visuals and young characters, having a more alternative rock, alternative pop, singer-songwriter, alternative metal soundtrack. Like genuinely good, classic alternative rock and singer-songwriter music, as well as like top-tier fucking butt rock. Imagine,
if you will,
the end of season 1, set to exit music for a film by Radiohead. Imagine that season 2 premiere, instead of one of the new Linkin Park songs, it's set to something like One Step Closer or what have you. Fucking Radiohead, Linkin Park, Nirvana, Nine Inch Nails, Bush, the Stone Temple Pilots, Jeff Buckley, Elliott Smith, maybe even throw in some Bob Dylan. Something better than fucking 21 Pilots or Imagine fucking Dragons. Fuck. Speaking of this could have been interesting, let's talk about the writing. Overall, this show is perfectly fine. At times, it could actually be quite engaging and emotionally resonant. I really like the world of this show. Piltover is a fantasy city that portrays the socio-political consequences of class strife. When this show is at its best, I love the political drama of it all, and how it related to the grander plot of magic and all that hullabaloo. But that's sadly about as good as it got. The characters in this show, on a whole, just aren't as engaging as the show thinks they are. Like, they're fine, but not that great. I can understand why my friend gravitates towards the arcs of Jace and Victor, as it can be a gripping portrayal of two star-crossed lovers wrestling with the ramifications of what they created, playing God at the expense of the world. It would have been cooler if they had kept Victor's backstory from the game, which from what I've been told and read about is really fucking cool, and would have been more interesting than the hacky Jesus bullshit we got. As cape shit and corny as it could get, Vi and Jinx's estranged siblings gimmick had its moments, especially when we got to the plot twist that their dead dad wasn't actually dead. Another character that gets praised for some reason is Silco. Like, yeah, he's kinda cool, but there isn't that much meat to him beyond a frayed relationship with his brother Vander. He's mostly just a scummy mob boss. I suppose, though, that what makes this slightly forgivable and understandable is that the show was cut short by Riot Games. With budgets inflating and with Riot's only concern being their increasingly irrelevant shit heap of a game getting more players, the planned 3 seasons was cut to 2. During the second season, there were multiple moments where I was saying to myself, that's a season's worth of material, that's a season's worth of material, yada yada yada. Everything in the second season, even if I could grasp the emotional through line of what was happening, just felt rushed and unearned. If this team had another season and was able to tell the story they wanted to tell, I can maybe see myself giving this a slightly higher score.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
Continuing with this theme of the show being above what was needed for a League of Legends show, this voice cast had some heavy hitters giving top-notch performances. The pair of Vi and Jinx are performed by Haley Steinfeld and Ella Purnell. Both these girls, especially Purnell, bring tons of charm and personality to their roles. Vi, the tough bruiser with a bleeding heart, and Jinx being a total schizo, their chemistry and dynamic was at least sold really well, even if it didn't connect with me fully. Jace and Victor are performed by Kevin Alejandro and Harry Lloyd. These two, I think, had the most chemistry as a duo. Their brotherly, some would say romantic, bond really resonated with me at times. Lloyd's performances during the show could be absolutely stellar. Another notable performance is Jason Spizak as Silco. And while I am not as enamored with this character, Spizak brought tons of energy to this character in terms of performance. He helped this mob boss cut a hell of a presence throughout the first season. Okay, if you're still with me after all of that, let me just say this to wrap it all up. Arcane might be style over substance, but goddamn what a style this show has. A visually stunning piece. Arcane is one of the prettiest shows I've had the pleasure of looking at. Sadly, all the show has is looks. Everything else is inconsistent at best. The original music is good, but is hampered by a music curator who picked the absolute worst licensed music possible and deserves to be shot. The writing is pretty good at times, but not only is it not as interesting as it lets on, it was diced to shit by studio interference. Thankfully, the cast are crushing it and help carry the writing. If you like League of Legends, still for some reason, you will for sure get a ton out of this show. For those that don't, you might like it more than me, but because it's fun. It's a fun little story. But I imagine you won't connect with it the same way that League of Legends fans do. For me, I respect it as a piece of animation, like I really do, and wish to praise its best aspects and not dwell on its disappointments. Fuck, this has gone on for long enough. Let's just wrap it up. I'm feeling a 6 out of 10 on this one. It's the highest you're getting, nerds. Sorry. Catch you later, guys.